Greetings, fellow hunters! We're back with another Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate Weapons Showcase, and today it's all about the Switch Axe. What is the Switch Axe? Well, it's an axe that can morph into a sword, and then back into an axe, back into a sword, and this is the whole point of the weapon. You gotta keep switching it up, because you know the axe is gonna be more appropriate for certain occasions, while the sword mode would be better for others. We'll tackle the specifics on axe mode and sword mode in a little while, but first of all, here are some general tips. And the first one is from Yojimbo. He says, don't stay only in one mode. Learn how to take the most out of each of them. And following up on that, Astria points out that you can switch between each mode mid-combo. So here's how you do it. And as a great beginner tip here, Kelby says that the switch axe that you start with, the bone axe, is a great beginner weapon. It has a power file, and it won't bounce back in sword mode, unlike most of the other starter weapons, which start off with kind of a bad sharpness. Deadeye Dave compliments that by saying that the standard X combo is quite easy to learn. Now on to more advanced stuff. Kaboom says use evades more offensively for repositionings, etc. Godhand says that the switch axe, compared to all the other weapons, has probably the largest amount of cancelable frames after an attack. But now moving on to axe mode. Deadeye Dave says that the rising slash is great for cutting tails. Just hit X and A at the same time. But Vato warns us that you gotta be careful with that move because it will launch your teammates into the air. He also adds that the vertical attacks in general are great for reaching Devil Joe and Diablos and other monsters that have really high weak spots. Link1275 says the switch axe has the best vertical cutting power. So again, great for cutting tails. Geo says that you can use that verticality to knock down flying wyverns. And he adds that it's really satisfying to knock down the alleged Lord of the Skies. Yojimbo says that the hack and slash combo hits come in pairs, so there's always a left, but always ending with a right. And it can also go on forever if you have negate stamina use. Jerry says that you should bring some dash use if you want to keep up that infinite combo. Yojimbo suggests ending the hack and slash combo with an overhead axe swing because it is the strongest move in axe mode. Now on to sword mode. Deadeye Dave points the obvious advantages here, which is the mind's eye effect, so your moves will go through and not bounce back, and the files that have very specific attributes. But he does note that it can be very disruptive to teammates, tripping them over. Yojimbo notes that the elemental discharge is the highest DPS move, and it's great at applying status and element. And then he explains a little bit about the files. The power file adds a large amount of raw damage. The element file boosts up the element or status present in the weapon. And the other files that you'll notice, Poison, Paralysis, Dragon, will just add that specific element or status. Hero says that the exhaust file can occasionally deal KO damage when you hit monsters in the head. And then he says you can cancel the elemental discharge early by hitting back and X. Vato says that the combos are very consistent and don't move you as much, so they're great for keeping pressure in the same hit zone and they won't bounce. For example, you can use these on Agnactor's Claws. Rob says you can attack immediately after a roll on sword mode. And do note that there's only 2 other weapons in the game that allow you to do that. Lovecrust says that the elemental discharge would actually push you back a lot, so you can use this to avoid certain incoming attacks like a tail swipe, for example. Red Stash reminds us that we can unsheath this weapon right into sword mode, but you have to be careful because if your gauge is not full enough, you'll run that reload animation, and that can get you killed. And here's a little trick from Kelby. If you start in a different area from the target monster, you can use a little bit of the file in sword mode. That'll get you below 50%, then reload it to get it all the way up to 90%. And a trick here from Red Stash, if you don't have earplugs as your armor skill, start reloading your switch axe right as the monster is about to roar. If the animation starts, it'll go through no matter what. Now on to some armor skills. Vato suggests high grade earplugs, rock steady, and some damage boost skills, as well as evasion +1. Kaboom recommends Evade Extender and Adrenaline +2 because it boosts a lot of the raw damage, and he does not recommend Focus, even though that might sound appealing in its description. And Hero recommends Attack Up Large, Challenger +2, Rock Steady, Speed Sharpener, and Axel Hundro recommends Razor Sharp. Well, that's it for the Switch Axe. Next time we'll be covering one of the Gunner weapons. If you have any suggestions for those, you'll find links on the video description. Thank you for watching, bye bye!